Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the hidden world right behind your drywall using the highly specific plumbing ecosystem of Loveland, Ohio as our fascinating case study. If you've ever wondered why things constantly break down in your home and how the pros actually put them back together, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Because let's face it, water emergencies absolutely do not wait for business hours. It's pretty much a universal truth for any homeowner. But today, we're exploring how local geography creates the perfect storm for these exact plumbing failures, and how professional master plumbers actually fix them. We're going to look at real-world data to understand what happens when nature fights your infrastructure. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the regional plumbing perfect storm. Second, the anatomy of common plumbing failures. Third, the three-step repair process. Fourth, plumbing codes and compliance. And finally, protecting your plumbing investment. Let's get right into it. Part 1, the regional plumbing perfect storm, environmental hazards. Let's look at how the vast geographical environment out there directly dictates the health of your home's pipes. You know, plumbing isn't just about pipes. It's about the environment those pipes live in. In Loveland, we've got 3 huge geographical hazards leading the charge. First up, high water tables near the Little Miami River. That means sump pumps are running constantly, and when they inevitably fail, you get a flooded basement fast. Second, we've got clay soil that shifts dramatically during freeze-thaw cycles, which literally squeezes and puts massive stress on underground water lines. And third, freezing winter temperatures constantly threatening exposed pipes and crawl spaces. Basically, the elements are actively working against your home's foundation. And there's a really stark contrast in vulnerabilities depending on when your home was built. Historic, pre-1980s homes were largely built with galvanized steel pipes and clay sewer lines, materials that are incredibly susceptible to those elements we just discussed. But newer builds, they utilize modern stuff like PEX supply lines, PVC drain systems, and properly installed copper. It's a whole different ballgame. The age of your home fundamentally changes your plumbing risk profile. Moving right along to Part 2, anatomy of common plumbing failures, why systems break down. Let's look at exactly what happens when those geographical and historical pressures win. So, the crucial point to understand here is that galvanized pipes don't just suddenly fail all at once. They slowly choke themselves from the inside out. Over the decades, they rust internally. It creates this slow, insidious cascade of issues. It starts with rusty or discolored water, then severely restricted pressure, and eventually, bam, sudden pinhole leaks that can cause massive damage behind your walls. The buildup is physically restricting the flow. And speaking of hidden damage, let's talk about root infiltration. It might look like a beautiful, mature, tree-lined street outside, but underneath, those exact same trees are ruthless moisture hunters. They actively seek out the joints in aging clay sewer pipes, penetrate right through them, and create massive blockages. Next thing you know, your drains are slow and sewage is backing up into the home. It's literally nature taking back its territory. Now, 10 to 12. That number is the surprisingly short lifespan in years of a standard tank water heater. Yeah, just a decade. After about 10 to 12 years, internal corrosion inevitably compromises the tank. And when it fails, it rarely goes quietly. It leaks, and if you don't catch it early, you're looking at a completely flooded basement and ruined drywall. Add to that the local hard water, which basically acts like a slow poison for your plumbing efficiency. It leaves behind these crusty mineral deposits that build up inside pipes, choking your water flow. This scale accumulation coats the heating elements in that water heater, shortening its life, and it slowly, systematically destroys your faucets, dishwashers, and washing machines. So, when the crisis actually hits, how do the pros handle it? Welcome to Section 3, the 3-step repair process, how the pros fix it. They use a highly structured, step-by-step process that transforms a chaotic emergency into a totally predictable science. Step 1 is rapid assessment. They use high-tech camera inspections and leak detection to eliminate the guesswork. Step 2 is expert execution, pulling professional-grade materials right off fully stocked trucks while using drop cloths to protect the home. And Step 3 is testing and documentation. They pressure test the fix to guarantee it holds. It's a calculated approach to disaster management. And every professional intervention operates under strict rules, which brings us to Section 4, Plumbing Codes and Compliance, Strict Safety Rules. This breakdown really shows how plumbing codes actively protect you. Major work like water heaters, sewer lines, or repiping the house legally requires a permit. That ensures critical safety standards like carbon monoxide venting and backflow prevention are actually met. Minor maintenance, like fixing a dripping faucet, doesn't need one. But honestly, following these codes isn't just bureaucracy. It actively prevents incredibly dangerous situations in your home. To wrap up, let's address some of the rapid-fire questions homeowners constantly face. Section 5, Protecting Your Plumbing Investment. Actionable knowledge. This is a classic one. If you've ever turned on the tap and smelled rotten eggs, you know exactly what I mean. It's incredibly gross, but the source is actually a fascinating chemical process. The surprising culprit is often hiding right inside your water heater. What happens is bacteria react with the magnesium or aluminum anode rod inside the tank. That specific reaction creates hydrogen sulfide gas, which gives you that awful sulfur smell. The fix? It's usually straightforward for a pro. They just flush the tank and replace that anode rod, and the smell is gone. Here's another super common issue: the sudden or even gradual drop in water pressure. You go to take a shower, and it's just a sad trickle. What gives? Well, the causes are surprisingly varied. It could be a systemic failure, like those corroded galvanized pipes, or severe mineral buildup literally choking the pipe's diameter. Or it could be mechanical, like a faulty pressure regulator or a shutoff valve that got bumped. Actually, sometimes it's as simple as a gunked-up faucet aerator. A master plumber will run a pressure test to isolate the exact variable, so you aren't paying to replace pipes when all you needed was a $5 aerator. And when the absolute worst happens, a leak completely hidden under the concrete foundation of your home, also known as a slab leak, what is the realistic timeline to fix it? That timeline depends heavily on the severity. With modern tech like epoxy pipelining, they can sometimes resolve the issue in a single day, totally sparing your floors from the jackhammer. If that's a no-go, rerouting the pipes through the walls or ceiling to completely bypass the slab usually takes about 2 days. The most invasive option, where they actually cut through the concrete, fix the pipe, and pour new cement, that's going to stretch to 3 days or more. Ultimately, everything we've looked at today leads back to this core principle. Code-compliant plumbing protects your investment. Understanding these hidden mechanics, from the shifting clay soil to the internal corrosion of your water heater, and relying on licensed professionals is really the only way to safeguard your home's value and keep your water safe. So we've explored the geographical hazards, the inevitable failures of aging materials, and the precise fixes used by the pros, which leaves you to ask yourself a very important question. When was the last time you inspected the infrastructure sitting quietly directly behind your own walls, holding back the flood? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this brought some clarity to the hidden systems we literally rely on every single day.